Bottom of the seventh, championship game. Bases loaded, 2 outs, a 1-run lead, and the entire season on the line. The stands were electric. 3,000 people, and you could hear a glove pop in the outfield.
Coach, my arm. I can't feel my fingers. It's done. I am done.
Steve Morrison stared at Jake, collapsed by the rubber. He hadn't listened to the trainer. Now his ace was finished. The scoreboard told the only story that mattered. Bottom 7. 1-run lead, bases loaded, 2 outs, and nobody left in the bullpen who'd thrown a single varsity pitch.
Who's loose in the pen? God damn it. Someone answer me.
Sam had been throwing since the 6th inning alone. As if he knew this moment would come. His glove popped like a gunshot. Coach, Sam's been painting corners down there. He's the only one left. The kid who'd sat on the bench all year jogged out of the bullpen gate, ball in his glove, eyes forward, completely calm.
Every 4 a.m. practice, every night shift, every time they called me a waste of a uniform. This is why.
3 months earlier, if you'd asked anyone on that team, nobody thought Sam Henderson deserved a uniform, let alone a spot on the mound.
Henderson, you are 10 minutes late on the first day. Got anything to say? You've got a golden arm, Henderson, but you show up late, you barely speak. You think that's enough to earn a spot on this field?
After practice, Sam walked home alone, the coach's criticism heavy in his chest. At home, his mother Maria lay on the couch, an oxygen tube under her nose, an old baseball game on television, the only light in the room.
How you feeling, Mom? You eat anything today?
I am fine, mijo. Did you make practice? Coach, see that arm of yours?
Work shift 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the kitchen. The note had been on the fridge for months. He never mentioned it at school.
That kid has a major league arm, but no heart. I am not wasting another inning on him.
I'll be ready when they call my name. For Mom, I'll be ready.
While his teammates slept, Sam clocked into a warehouse on the south side, lifting pallets until his hands bled. At 6 a.m., he punched out, grabbed his glove, and headed toward a different kind of work. On the bus, he'd close his eyes for 20 minutes. Then on the dawn field, he was alone. He'd mark a spot on the fence post and throw strike after strike at a target only he could see. Sam? What are you doing out here at 5:30 in the morning?
Getting my work in, since I am not getting it during practice.
You come here every morning. Man, you are incredible. I won't tell anyone, promise. But back at the team, the jokes never stopped. Jake Turner made sure of that.
Hey, Henderson. You ever gonna throw a pitch for this team, or just here for the view?
If they only knew. But they don't. And maybe that's okay.
2 weeks into the season, Sam got the call, no athlete wants. His mother was in the ER, and he had to make a choice.
I am not leaving you, Mom. The game can wait.
He missed the next game. Coach Steve didn't ask why. He just drew a line through Sam's name on the lineup card.
You are done, Henderson. You miss games. You don't play. Understand?
Now I really have nothing left.
Mijo, you can still throw. Every day. For yourself, for me.
1 strike at a time. For Mom.
He never missed a dawn practice after that. Even when he was benched. Even when nobody watched. You are killing yourself, Sam. Coach needs to know.
They don't need to know. I just need to be ready when it matters.
The last regular season game, and Sam sat in the same dugout spot he'd occupied all year, invisible.
Turner, you are dealing tonight. 1 more inning, and we close this out.
Jake struck out the side with a fastball that cracked the mitt, then pumped his fist to the roaring crowd.
That's how you bring home a season, boys. Let's take that fire into the tournament.
Sam walked home alone, the stadium lights shrinking behind him like a world he wasn't part of.
You didn't play again, mijo, but they won, and the championship starts soon. You'll get your shot.
Maybe, Mom, if we go deep and something happens, they'll have no choice.
She saw the quiet hope she'd planted, even if the coach never bothered to look.
If they make it far enough, and Jake's arm gives out, Then they'll have to use me.
The stadium lights shut off that night. For most, the regular season was over. For Sam, the waiting was just beginning. The tournament opened under a Friday night sky, and Jake Turner came out throwing heat like the regular season was just warm-up.
Nobody's touching this fastball tonight, Coach.
Keep it up, Turner. We ride you all the way to the final.
Sam watched from the far end of the bench, his glove still in his lap, unused. They won the second game by 6, Jake striking out 10 as the scoreboard glowed with his dominance. But after the celebration, alone near the dugout, Jake was rotating his right shoulder, his face tight.
Just a little tight, Coach. Nothing ice can't fix.
Good, because in the semifinal, I need you for all 7. This is the game that gets us to the final.
The semifinal was a war. Jake gritted through 7 innings, but his fastball lost 3 miles an hour by the 5th. When the final out was made, Jake walked off with his arm hanging dead. Coach Steve slapped his back and never glanced at the bullpen. The morning after the semifinal, Sam was on the dawn field before the sun, his routine unchanged.
Coach hasn't looked at you all tournament. This is your last chance to say something.
If I tell him now, he'll think I am making excuses. I earned my chance in the bullpen.
That evening, his mother handed him a small medal, a family heirloom she had worn through her own trials.
For the championship, Miko. This medallion has seen our family through hard times. Wear it next to your heart.
Gracias, Mama. I won't let you down.
But the night before the championship, Sam clocked in for a double shift at the warehouse.
12 hours, and then the game. I'll sleep when the season is over.
When he finally stumbled out at dawn, his legs were rubber. He had 3 hours before the bus to the stadium, but in his pocket, the medallion felt like a promise, warm against his ribs. The championship final was a cathedral of light and tension. Every pitch felt like a held breath. Jake took the mound with ice in his sleeve, but his first fastball was already 88, 4 ticks down from his best. Through 6 innings, Jake held the lead with guts and guile alone, his arms screaming on every delivery. But in the 7th, the wheels came off. A walk, a bloop single, another walk, and suddenly the bases were loaded with nobody out.
Time, Turner. You okay?
I can finish this, Coach. One more batter.
The trainer was already sprinting. Jake tried to throw a warm-up pitch and collapsed at the rubber, clutching his elbow.
No. God damn it, who's left? Henderson, get loose now.
Sam had been watching from the bullpen, his glove already on. He stood up like he'd been waiting his whole life.
For Mom, 1 strike. Then the next.
Sam threw his warm-up pitches with the precision of someone who'd thrown 10,000 before breakfast.
From the dugout, Steve watched. Where has this been all year? He muttered to no one.
The catcher, Danny, pounded his mitt. Sam was ready.
Luis leaned over the rail. He's been throwing like that every morning since March, alone, at dawn.
Steve's head snapped toward Luis. What did you say?
Before Luis could answer, the dugout phone rang. Steve grabbed it, his eyes still on Sam. A voice from County General. Coach Morrison, Maria Henderson is in the ICU. We were told not to inform her son during the game. Steve's face went gray. He thanked them and hung up, staring at the mound.
He turned to Luis. Not a word. Not yet. He's got enough to carry tonight.
Sam Henderson stepped onto the rubber, the stadium a roaring wall around him, completely unaware. Before Sam could take the sign, Coach Steve called time and walked to the mound, his cleats low on the dirt.
Henderson, Sam, I need to tell you something. Your mother. She's in the hospital. County General ICU.
Mom, number, not tonight.
For 1 second, Sam saw her, the oxygen tube, the tired smile, and the stadium vanished.
She told them not to distract me. She believed I'd be here.
I am sorry, kid. I didn't know what you were carrying. I should have asked.
Is she stable?
Stable. They said, she told them, not to distract you. She's fighting.
Then I'll give her something to watch. Give me the ball.
He set his jaw, nodded once, and the coach walked away. Sam turned to the plate, the medallion burning against his skin. Sam got the sign from Danny, fastball outside. He nodded, took a deep breath, and set. His windup was smooth, the exact motion he'd grooved alone on the Dawn field 1,000 times. The ball left his hand with a crisp four-seam spin, cutting through the night toward the outside black. The pitch landed in Danny's mitt with a sharp pop. The umpire's fist shot up. The umpire called strike one, and the crowd stirred with nervous energy. Sam came set again. The batter swung and fouled the next pitch, hard into the netting. Strike two, called the umpire. The count was 0-2. Danny called for a breaking ball. Sam nodded, but the pitch spun just outside. Ball one. The count was now 1-2, and the tension climbed with every heartbeat.
One more strike. I've thrown 10,000 of these. This one's for Mom.
Sam came set again. The batter fouled off a tough two-seamer that ran in on his hands. The count held at 1-2. Danny called for a fastball high and tight. Sam shook him off, then nodded at the curveball. The pitch broke late, but caught the corner. Or didn't. The umpire's arms spread. Ball two. The count was even at 2-2. The crowd noise became a physical weight pressing down on the infield.
Every part of me is burning. 12 hours on a warehouse floor, and now this.
He wiped his face with his sleeve, but the fatigue was etched into every line of his 17-year-old face. In the dugout, Coach Steve gripped the rail until his knuckles went white, watching the frame he'd ignored all year.
I left this kid on the bench for 3 months, and he still came ready.
Sam touched the medallion under his jersey, then locked eyes with Danny. One more pitch.
She's watching. Give her everything.
Sam delivered a fastball that rode up, and just off the outside corner. Ball three. The count was full, 3-2. Bases loaded, 2 outs, the championship on the line. The stadium was deafening, a thunder of hope and fear from 3,000 souls.
Mom, I need you now.
He stepped off the rubber, took a breath that shook his entire frame, and looked up at the lights. In his mind, he saw her. The oxygen tube, the tired smile, the small television flickering in the dark. Her medallion felt hot against his chest, as if she were right there, holding on.
Come on, kid. Come on.
Sam climbed back onto the rubber, his eyes empty of everything except the catcher's mitt.
This is the one. For all of it.
Danny flashed the sign for a fastball low and away.
Not the heater. They're sitting on it. I need the changeup.
Sam wiped his nose with his glove, the code they'd agreed on for the change. Danny nodded once, set his target outside, and waited.
Change up. In this situation, kid's either got steel in his veins or I've ruined us both.
Sam took a slow breath, the kind you take before the world changes.
You've thrown this in the dark, alone, 1,000 times. Just one more.
Behind the plate, Danny's glove opened like a promise, steady as a rock. The batter leaned in, knuckles white, eyes wide, knowing everything hung on this. Sam brought his hands together, the ball hidden, and the stadium noise drained away. For a fleeting moment, the stadium vanished. Sam was back on the Dawn field, alone in the mist, every morning that had brought him here unfolding in his chest.
Every 4 a.m., bucket of balls. Every aching arm. Every throw that no one saw.
He saw his mother in the hospital bed, the medallion around her neck, her eyes telling him one strike at a time.
She gave me this. She gave me her strength.
He saw the warehouse clock, the paycheck stub, the note on the fridge.
You work all night. You miss practice. You are invisible. Not anymore.
The medallion pressed warm against his skin, a reminder that love doesn't need a crowd.
She's in the ICU, and she still believed in me. So I believe.
The stadium noise rushed back in, but it was distant now, Like a tide he'd already crossed.
Throw it for her. One strike.
Sam lifted his front leg, the motion a perfect replica of every dawn he'd ever thrown. The batter's bat trembled. Danny's glove sat wide and still on the outside corner. Sam's arm came back, elbow high, hand hiding the ball until the very last instant, a magician's sleight.
Just like you rehearsed, 1,000 times in the dark. Nothing faster. Nothing slower.
The stadium lights caught the sweat on his brow, his eyes unblinking, locked on the target. In the dugout, Coach Steve stopped breathing. His knuckles were white on the rail. Behind the plate, the umpire leaned in, his own pulse hammering in his ears. Sam's front foot hung in the air for an eternity. A sculptor's pause before the final stroke.
For Mom. For all the mornings. This ends now. Just watch.
His arm whipped forward, the ball still hidden in his glove, the world waiting to exhale. Sam's fingers released the leather with the gentleness of a whispered secret. The changeup spun through the night like a magic trick, slower than the eye expected. In the stands, 3,000 faces froze mid-cheer, mouths still shaping the sound they had not yet made. The dugout was a sculpture of suspense. Half leaps, half breaths, every eye on the spinning ball.
There it goes. Everything I am traveling 60 feet.
The batter's bat never moved, his eyes tracking a ghost he didn't believe was there. A mother in the stands pulled her child closer. A father's coffee stopped halfway to his lips. Coach Steve's hand left the rail, his mouth forming a silent word. The umpire leaned close, his right hand twitching, ready to decide.
Catch it. Danny. For Mom.
The ball found Danny's mitt with a sound like a safe door closing. A clean, perfect pop.
Steerika 3, ball game.
For one full, eternal second, the stadium went completely silent. 3,000 people forgot to breathe.
We did it, Mom. We really did it.
Then the silence shattered. A roar erupted that shook the press box windows and rolled across the outfield like a flood. Coach Steve stood frozen at the dugout rail, his mouth agape, his hand slowly covering his heart. On the scoreboard, the final indicator blazed to life next to the one-run lead, forever etching the moment. The batter still stood at the plate, bat on his shoulder, staring at the empty spot where the pitch had been. Danny leaped from his crouch, flinging his mask into the night, screaming something no one could hear over the din. Sam opened his eyes to a world that had changed, the noise crashing over him like a wave he had finally learned to ride. The entire dugout emptied, a tidal wave of red jerseys sprinting toward the mound. But Sam didn't move. He stood on the rubber, staring at the coach across the field, as if the real game had just begun. Coach Steve walked through the sea of players, his eyes fixed only on Sam.
He stopped a foot away, his voice cracking. I don't know what to say, kid.
Is she okay? Sam asked, his voice raw.
Waiting to hear. I'll call right now.
Before he could dial, Luis appeared at his side, breathless but steady.
Coach, there's more you need to know. Luis's voice was urgent but low. He's been working night shifts since January to help his mom. Every morning, he's on that field before the sun, alone.
Coach Steve's face crumbled. The kid he'd benched had been fighting a war he never saw.
Sam, I am sorry. I should have seen what you were carrying. I failed you.
Everything I did was for her. She's my reason.
Before Steve could reply, his phone buzzed. County General. He listened for a long moment, then put his hand over the speaker and turned to Sam, his face breaking into a smile.
She's stable, Sam. She's asking for you, and she watched the whole thing. Every pitch.
She saw. She's okay.
And listen, I am putting your name in for a scholarship, full ride, and next season, you are my #1 starter.
After all those mornings alone, they finally see me.
The stadium still roared, but here on the mound, the only sound that mattered was a quiet yes that seemed to come from the medallion itself. The kid who had been invisible all year was now the heart of it all, and he understood. The fight was bigger than baseball. The team lifted Sam onto their shoulders. A sea of red jerseys bouncing under the stadium lights. Coach Steve called them into a tight circle. The noise of the crowd a distant roar around them.
What you saw tonight wasn't luck. It was a lesson. We don't judge a player by the minutes they play, but by the heart they carry. Starting today, we're creating the Silent Strength Scholarship. For the ones who fight in the dark, Sam Henderson is the first.
Jake stepped forward, his injured arm in a sling, and extended his other hand.
You pitched us to a championship. I gave it everything. But you gave more. I am proud to call you a teammate.
Luis hugged Sam tightly, whispering something that made them both laugh through tears. Over the PA, the announcer's voice cut through. Attention, a new scholarship has been established here tonight. The Silent Strength Scholarship, in honor of Sam Henderson. For athletes who carry more than we know.
All those dawns, all that silence. It was never invisible.
3 days later, Sam walked into County General with a championship cap on his head and a medallion still around his neck.
Mijo, you did it. I knew you would.
She pulled him close, and for a long moment, they said nothing at all. A week later, the Dawn Field was still his church, but this time, Coach Steve stood at the edge of the mist, watching without a word, nodding slowly.
Now I see, all this time, he was building something I never noticed.
Sam finished his work, picked up his glove, and left a note on the bench, one strike at a time. Always for you, Mom. The medallion glinted in the first light, and somewhere, a hospital window reflected the same sun. The silent ones always have the loudest victories.